What's going on, y'all, and welcome back to another RGC fishing episode. It's been a tough month. It's been a tough winter. January is historically a tough month, and we're out here at one of my favorite spots, Chocolate Bayou. And normally I like to wait until I catch my first fish to kind of get the vibes going right for the intro. But after fishing for a little bit already today, I can tell it's gonna be another one of those tough days, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and upload this video anyways, because I've only been fishing like 3 or 4 times this month, just as how crazy the weather's been. And out of those times, well, y'all have seen I've only posted 1 video this month. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use this opportunity to talk about wintertime fishing and how it's been a struggle for me. Maybe you guys can relate, and if we catch a fish, that would be sick. So if you guys seem interested in that, stick around, stay tuned, and who knows, we could catch something. You know, don't count me out yet. We got a full day of fishing ahead. All right, enough with that. Let's start making some more casts.
Yeah, we're not gonna get anything inside this muddy water.
Yeah, no
Trout.
Yeah,
It's just not gonna happen.
I don't think so either.
And with the water being probably 2.5 foot low, getting to them secondary bayous are gonna be hard.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I know y'all heard that, but yeah. After that intro, we spent a little bit of time fishing through this bayou, and as you can see, man, it is super dirty water. No luck on the trout, so we're gonna head in and look for some reds. And while we're moving in, I guess I'll take this opportunity to talk about wintertime fishing. Kind of, you know, take something away from this video. So, wintertime fishing. Besides the obvious, you're gonna have very high winds during the wintertime and very cold weather. Now that's something that should just be expected. You know, it's one of those things you can kind of just put on a coat, grit your teeth, and just ignore it, endure it, have a little mental fortitude. It is annoying, you know, and as the day goes on, the more like wind knots you get or water that's splashing on you, it could tick you off. But it's the same thing with like the heat in the summertime. You know, you just learn to get used to it and not let it bother you. What does bother me about wintertime fishing is just the conditions, you know, how tough it can make fishing. And that's for 2 reasons. A, in the winter, the winds can get to the point where it's like, dang, I can't even fish in this. You know, in the summertime, a high wind day is like 15 miles per hour. In the wintertime, like 15 miles per hour is a low wind day. You know, we have days where it's 25, 30 miles per hour, you know, gusts, and it's just non-stop. It's horrible winds, so that'll keep you off the water. Not to mention, in the wintertime, you know, you have that cold front, real dry cold air, and then we have the warm air coming in from the Gulf, and it just kind of clashes and makes the thunderstorms, which in turn dirties up our water and you know, makes the water super fresh. I don't really care about the salinity level per se, because in the wintertime, you know, trout don't really care too much about salinity. But that being said, they do care about clean water, and this dirty crap, you know, there's not going to be any trout in this. So that's very tough, especially when you consider the fact that, you know, wintertime fishing for me, at least in January and December, has always been, you know, very focused on finding trout, schools of trout. And, you know, you can have very lucrative days, like, you know, last month, for instance, we had, you know, days in a row where we would go out, find these trout, and catch double man limits on these schools. And today is just, you know, the flip side of that experience. It's you go out, you don't find the school of trout, and you have a very tough day. And that's just kind of, you know, how wintertime fishing goes. Now, what you can do in that situation is what we're about to do right now. I'm gonna upload this video no matter what, but you know, what we're about to do is start searching for reds, right? It's not gonna be a great day, but if you can catch just that one keeper fish to take home, to have dinner, you know, it can at least feel a little bit like it was worth it. So right now I'm gonna give it my best shot to, you know, set a good example and find a redfish, make it through a tough day of fishing, tough conditions, and show you can still have a little bit of a takeaway here if you get out there on a tough day. So let's do it. Let's do it, man. While I'm casting, I guess we can go ahead and talk about tactics and tackle for this situation. So just to set the stage, the situation is you came out, you know it's going to be a tough day. All right, we can all tell within like the first 45 minutes, you know, probably sooner than that, of fishing is today going to be like one of those days where, you know, our plan worked out perfect and we're getting on them, or it's going to be a slow day. So if you find yourself in a slow day, this is what I would recommend you do. First things first, get ready to make some casts, because we're going to be doing blind casting. You know, there's no redfish schooling, tailing around right now. So you kind of just go to your target areas and you blind cast. And in that situation, you're going to want to have on a confidence lure, a confidence bait. For me, that is the Hoagie Swimming Jack paddle tail. I can move it a lot. I can cover a lot of ground. And I know this is a good lure. Like, I'm not making all these casts and I'm questioning, you know, should I switch my bait? Should I do this? Should I do that? No. And the second thing I would say is maybe slow your retrieve down a little bit if you're using a swim bait. If you're using a shrimp, you kind of have to work it slow. But slow it down, because everything's cold. Everything's kind of lethargic, moving around slow, to include the bait fish. So you can work that a little bit slower and probably looks more natural. The last thing I'll say is min-max. You know, put on your Pro-Cure. Gosh, I can't even talk. Put on Pro-Cure, put in your rattles, any little small advantage you can get to tip the scales in your favor. Do it, because, you know, that one fish, that one bite that you get is the difference between going home skunked and going home with at least one fish to cook up and do a catch and cook and get some content for your YouTube channel. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm not kidding, I'm being serious, but you know, I feel like most guys, when we come out here, we are trying to catch fish. You know, I know, yeah, fishing, not catching, but catching is the goal. So if you can just come home with one keeper, it makes you feel a little bit better than nothing at all. But yeah, other than that, target your go-to areas. Like, I just got done fishing through here. Shallow water, we got a lot of oyster. And if you can, bonus points, get something that's protected from the wind. Like, I really thought this would be a good spot. Just because it's protected from the wind, it's not getting constantly churned up and aerated. That cools the water down. But something like this, where there's not a lot of wind, you know, constantly chilling it, it's got the sun baking it in the shallow mud, getting all warm. Bonus points. And it's not like it's a, you know, get rich quick scheme, catch fish quick scheme. It's still tough, but it's definitely better than just fishing, you know, any random spot, if that makes sense. Got a little bit of a status update for you guys. No luck for me. Been a little while, just kind of fishing around, targeting some more oyster here. You can't see it, but those PVC pipes are marking it out. And I haven't had any luck, but my pops caught a rat red, so that's a small little W. At least we caught a fish. And now we're moving to the last of the good spots. The last of the spots that I think could be holding reds. We're headed there. It's a little bayou with some structure, some oyster in it. Caught fish there in the past, so let's go check it out. And it really is like the last spot that I'm confident in. You can't get in there? Oh man, I'm really hoping we can make it in. I can maybe go into shallow water mode.
Yeah, you should be able to get there, no problem.
Alright. Well, y'all, I just realized I forgot to mention it or record it, but we weren't able to get back into that little bayou that I was talking about earlier. It was just way too shallow, and there was no getting back there. Even with the push-pull, we wouldn't be able to scoot through it. Plus, it was super dirty water. So we're back out here, just kind of targeting whatever we can, little tidbits of oyster, and it's kind of just freestyling now. You know, I'm fishing areas.
Get in there.
Huh? Yeah, it's the same thing as that bayou. It's super shallow.
Is it?
Yeah, it looks the exact same. Like if you look, the watercolor is like that. It's gone past chocolate milk. It's just like, it looks like there's mud suspended in solution right now. Whew.
Yeah, I see nothing but shrubs poking out inside the middle of the water. I don't think I'm gonna get
Like everything that's normally submerged is just it's so shallow.
Yeah.
That right there, guys, is what I'm talking about with the wintertime fishing. It's like, it's tough for a different reason. It's like you just genuinely can't really fish.
Yeah, well, we fished all the hot spots.
And it's like, it pains me. You know, I don't know if I'm the only guy who does this, but it's times like this where I'm just sitting here. When I'm not talking to the camera, I'm just alone with my thoughts, and I'm just thinking in my head of all the other spots. I'm like, dang, maybe if we went here, that would have been a good, you know, we probably could have had luck there, or maybe here. And right now, I mean, there's just really only a couple other spots. The main issue is those north winds blowing out all the water. It makes it tough to hit a lot of the spots you normally would. At least for me, it makes it tough. You know, as a kayak fisherman, kind of, you're staying shallow, you're staying inshore, and that becomes difficult with all these winds. It's just sad. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to sound like a complainer in this video. I don't know if I've already talked about, you know, that whole thing. I'm just trying to stay as objective as possible, and kind of just talk about the struggles of wintertime fishing. You know, it is what it is at the end of the day. At least you know, we finally had a good weather day that you can actually come out and fish. So shout out to that. I'm not stuck in the house, but it is tough. It is tough to actually catch fish. If you're one of those guys who doesn't embrace the whole, it's called fishing, not catching. If you can't come out and just fish, and you're gonna be upset leaving the water, it's probably in your best interest just, you know, to put the rods away until the fair weather comes back. But I don't know, I have serious fear of missing out. It's like, I look at the forecast and I see that good day, and I'm like, oh man, this is my only shot all week. So you kind of just go out no matter what. All right, y'all, that is gonna do it here for today's video. You got Rennell pulling up. Back at the launch, man. I guess I'll say, you know, it was a good couple hours of fishing. Got to get out of the house, but these conditions are terrible. Honestly, I thought about maybe pulling up to a different spot, but we're gonna run into the same problems at pretty much every spot. The only reason we chose here is because it's kind of some of the deepest water. So even with those low water levels, we're at least able to give it a shot. Let's get that lighting back. Give it a shot there in the bayou. Unfortunately, the trout weren't there. I think the next thing on my radar when we get a good day is to go check out Sabine. It's a very good area, deep water, always holding reds. When I say deep water, I mean super deep. So for those of you guys who know that spot, it's always been great in the winter. It's a pretty far drive, but at this rate, I think it's the only spot we'll be able to catch fish in these conditions. Anyways, thank you guys if you stuck around in this video to this point. I know it was a pretty boring one. I try my best not to upload skunks and stuff like this, but the name of the channel, it's a real Gulf Coast fishing after all. And this is the reality, man. It's really slow right now, really tough. But yeah, thank you guys. I hope you have a great rest of y'all's day. Peace.